when you used the get help -full command, you got something like this for each parameter. And let's talk about how to interpret that, because it really makes interpreting these things easier. Let's go here to get help get service full. And I'm going to go up to the list of parameters here. And here each one is, and you see this table for each one. Looks like this: required, position, and so forth. The required one just says whether that parameter is required or not. Now remember, you can go up here to the syntax and you can figure it out by looking at the brackets here, whether it's required or whether it's not required. But this makes it really easy. You just look at it. Is it required or not? This one's not required, this one's not required, and so on. The position, if it's a named parameter, in other words, it's not a positional parameter, then if it's not positional, we call it named. And if it is positional, it'll give us the number. By the way, it'll start with 0. So here, the name parameter is the first positional parameter. So remember, positional means you have to put them in the right order, and this would have to be the first one in that order. Next is the default value. If there is a default, if you don't supply a value for the argument, then will PowerShell supply a default one for you? And if so, what is it? Will it accept pipeline input? Now, we're going to talk about this in great detail later on, so don't worry about what this means now, but if it does accept pipeline, then it'll tell you either by value or by parameter name. And finally is accept wildcards. So can I use wildcards in that argument or not? And so it's just a true or false. So we'll explain this pipeline stuff later on in Chapter 9, but this just makes it so much easier than trying to pick this stuff out up here. Say, let's see, is it positional or is it not positional? Is it required? Is it not required? And having to remember that, you can just look it up using that full switch in the get help commands.